Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep, welcome back to Pacific Paradise, and welcome back to this item we're making. Yeah, we're in the cartographer, we're in the map maker, and we're making a whole new world for ourselves. So, if you're joining us for the first time, W is forward, S is back, A is left, D is right, Q is down, E is up, and right-clicking and holding on the mouse pans the camera around. That's kind of everything you need, but if we go to terrain and objects and things, well, here's a bit of a problem with the map editor. This amount slider is inherited between all of the tools: raise and lower height, set height, and smooth height. And yes, I know I've said this before, and I keep saying it because there is no undo in the game. Save regularly, because if you're going around smoothing the island with a nice big soft brush, and then you think, ooh, I need to raise a little terrain or lower a little terrain using the raise and lower tool, that amount slider is all the way up. You'll punch a hole through to Cthulhu's bedroom, or you'll raise a mountaintop. It is something you can't undo. You'd have to escape and reload. So just make sure that that amount slider is turned down every single time, and every single time I'll probably mention it. So I'm just going to click on objects so I don't accidentally change the terrain. That means that if we're on terrain, quite often we'll have a brush. If I'm just clicking around like a mad person, then we can change the way the island looks. So objects, that is a fairly safe place to be. The mouse isn't going to do too much here. Anyway, last time we started our forest. We were putting in a forest, and it's kind of inconvenient because an aeroplane has crashed into it. And you might be saying, well, a couple of things. Hey, old chum, why are these island building videos so long? Have you ever tried to watch an instructional video and somebody's gone from A to B to D but skipped C? So you're looking up a video and someone's making a cake, and they go, well, you put in the eggs, the flour, and the sugar, but then they don't tell you how long to cook it for, or the consistency of the batter. Nope, I'd rather give you all the information, every single piece of information, and then you can just skip through to the bits that you want. That is better, I think. Anyway, yes, so the aeroplane went in. The aeroplane went in and it was kind of hovering. We don't want it to hover. We need it to be inside of a forest, just being held up by the trees. We also need a way for the player to get onto the aeroplane, should they not build anything around it, and we need it to be suspended by wood, which is nice. I think another tree somewhere around here, maybe. We'll just keep it up. There is the question of how much do we obscure versus how much, or how many trees are needed to keep this realistic. Airplanes are kind of heavy in real life. They're not super heavy because they need to fly, but they weigh a good few tons. So we're going to hit up trees. Now we have a limited amount of trees that we can put in. We've already put in quite a few cook pines in order to sort of start the look. I think we're going to need another one maybe around the tail, just to make it look like it is being kept up, and maybe one around the front. We can also add ficuses. We can add quite a few ficus trees and palm trees if we should need that. So I'm going to go grab, so we know pine tree 2, pine tree 1, and pine tree 3. Pine tree 3 is the small one. Is that going to be big enough? Question mark? Maybe. Pine tree 2, big one. And pine tree 1, medium one. I think we'll do the medium one. And we need to be very careful of how we do this. So, T, R to rotate, T to transform. Only the pine trees can be rotated on their vertical axis. The palm trees cannot, because I don't know why. I think it's an oversight. In the game, the palm trees... and it's already snapped to a rock. We need to be careful about that. Yeah, in the game, the palm trees can be rotated by the game itself, but in the map editor, that function has not been put in yet. The more items we add to an area, the more likely it is for the transform and rotate tool to snap to an item behind. So you put in the big important things in first, and then you put in the small decorative things later, because you can't, there's no item list. You can't just like tab through an item list, which I think is an oversight. So I want this touching the rear of the airplane. So I'm looking up here, and then where the tailplane is, and then I'm also looking down to the pivot point, so I'm just hitting R and T. We can rotate outwards, because we can move these things on a 3D plane. And that's snap to a rock. Let's move it outwards. T to transform, pull blue. Just want it touching the very leading edge of the wing. So the front part of a wing on an aeroplane is the leading edge, and the back part is the trailing edge. And what's going to happen is the camera is going to get a little bit crazy, because now we've got a lot of large objects. Can hit terrain and objects, so we don't have anything selected. The more objects we have in an area, the more that it affects the camera, because the camera has, well, it doesn't have like a locked speed, so I'm just holding W and it gets a little bit bumpy the closer and further away you are from an object. If you hold down shift, you can move the camera faster, but quite often you'll end up at the island boundary, and that is not a fun time. Kind of annoying, really. So, good. I need a pathway from one side of the island to another. I think that's okay. Maybe we can add another pine tree 1 at the front. No, I don't really want to obscure the plane itself. I want it here, maybe? And I'll do the same thing. I'll rotate that around. So R to rotate. And just pull it forward. And then pull it out. So these aren't going to be all completely vertical. And then T. Grab the red toggle and just move it into the engine nacelle. Pull it forward. So you might say, is that a radial engine? Yeah, radial engine. You need to move them at quite a clip. You need the machine moving in order to get any cooling. Sometimes they added spoilers to the back of the propeller just to blow extra air through. The B-29 Super Fortress had to have those added because it would set itself on fire. Right, good. I think that's enough. So, it's enough to hold the aeroplane up, but it's not enough if you're running over the wings to obscure lines of sight. So if you happen to be standing on the wing and going, ooh, look at this. I can see out to sea. It's beautiful. We have a giant hole here. We have a slight problem in that the way up is on this wing, and it does mean that a player would have to jump over the top. We should really have the way up on this wing. So, yes. The player needs to be able to jump onto the top of the airplane. The nacelle isn't covered, so I think you can bounce from the nacelle to the top if you needed to. We're not stopping a player getting down, but we need the player to get to this tail section. Alright, we'll have to, that's one of the things we'll have to test in-game. Okay, that's fine. So the rest of the forest is looking a little bit empty. We have some rocks. We've put in some interest on the ground. We're going to need a lot more trees, though. So that thing is plowed through. How many trees do we have left? Well, we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 large. We can probably squeeze 4 out of that. 1, 2, 3, 4 small. And 1 medium. Ooh, okay. So that's all the trees that we have left. In order to make a forest. Oh no. Oh no. Well, delete button actually will get rid of anything. Unfortunately, you have to click on everything. Again, no item list. Really want an item list in the map editor. It would be so much easier. We could just select a bunch of things that we've placed in the world and get rid of them. Those shoreline rocks that you can never select to get rid of. Yes, I want to get rid of you. Yes, specifically you. It is something that I need to do. So, I'm going to pull out pine tree 1. So we have 1 small one left. Okay. So pine tree 2 is the big ones. I'm going to put you here. Yeah, probably next to the rock, actually. Because you're not going to be walking over... You might be walking over the rock, but what you're not going to be doing is walking through the rock. And you're also not going to be walking through the tree. I'm going to move that down so the bottom of the tree is in the dirt. Why do we do that? Because have you ever played a game where the bottom of the tree is floating? I'm going to have to check these ones as well, the ones that we've just placed. Nope, that's okay. And the camera is... camera is not liking all of these objects being so close together. But we have to check. We have to do the little check. Yep, that's fine. So we've managed to put all of these into dirt and they look fine. Yeah, placing trees next to rocks is a valid idea, because if we just place them, I mean, we could place them in the middle of a path, but ultimately what we're doing is we're creating lots of little pathways for a player to walk through. We've got a pathway here, a And we've got a pathway here. We've got a pathway here. And all of these bits in between the rocks are also pathways. And I've even got a pathway in between these two bits of rock because the player is going to be wanting to run around. If I just put that there, it will be fine. And in fact, I probably will do that. So we got 3 of these. But if I put it next to a rock, it doesn't obscure those pathways. And I kind of want a gap through the middle of this, so it looks like it's kind of plowed through those trees. So I put that there, drag it down, R to rotate, spin it around, because otherwise what you're going to get is a bunch of trees lined up. So the trouble is, when you're putting a forest in, you want to make it look a little bit natural. And natural doesn't mean everything... Oh my word. Natural doesn't mean everything lines up. Kind of shouldn't line up. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Terrain and objects, because we got something selected and I don't know what it is. Good. Good. We can do another one... here or here? Let's give the forest some depth, I think. We can see what we're trying to do here, I think. Good. T to transform. T to transform. T to transform. And as you go down, you've got a lot of trunks, a lot of wood in the way, and the wood is good because as you look up, you've got, oh my word, the camera. You have a lot of effects that you won't see in the map editor. What, the trees move? I don't believe the trees move at all. I believe there is a mod you can get to make the foliage move in the wind. But that is not in the game, as far as I remember. It is one of the objects. It is one of the things that is absolutely missing. So we have these 3 here, but pine tree 2, maximum items reached. So we can click on 1 and then 2, and then we can grab another one out of the toolbox. Wait, what? Yeah, you can grab another one out of the toolbox. It's fine. So we can put that there. It's T, drag it down. So there's a little bit of dirt, just in that little crook there. So, yeah, you can grab another, like a little extra one out of the toolbox by clicking off the pine tree and then back again. I'm just looking at the tree in the background. It's kind of bent inwards, so this one's going to bend outwards slightly. There we are. Pine tree 1. All right, so terrain objects, because we got a rock selected and I don't want that. Objects, please, please. So we got the medium trees. Excellent. Drop you in. T. R. Maybe a little... Oh, out a bit. There we go. But wait, there's more. Yeah, so we're trying to add a gap through the middle. What we can do is go out and then look at it. And it's like, well, that's not quite what we need. All right, well, we can move these around a little bit. There we go. There we go. So we need a bigger gap. But we still want the forest look. Oh, that's okay. We can move this big one over. Over here. So we can move some things around. They don't need to be placed. Once you place them, you can move them around. If they don't look right, do it. Make it so, number 1. Right, okay. That's better. That's better. So we'll move you out and down, because once we moved it out, it's sort of going down the hill, and we don't want the bottom of the roots showing. Right, good. Terrain objects. How's that? How is that? Okay, yeah, we've got a basic shape for the forest. Pine tree 1, pine tree 2, maximum. Pine tree 3 is the little pine trees. Alright, good. Now we can drop the little pine tree 3 in. To rotate. And then put it over slightly. As if something's crashed through the forest. Tilt it. There we go. Up, and a back. Terrain objects. So some of these trees are still knocked to one side, but the thing is there's going to be new forest growth. I think this one might need to come over if we want this whole idea to work. Just a little bit. There you go. There you go. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, that's better. So we have that definite gap through the middle. Pine tree 1, which is a little tiny pine tree. We can put that in instead. I'm going to go down, hit R, knock it over slightly. We don't need to be aggressive. We don't need to make it all lay down. We can. And sometimes it's worth trying a few different things. It's like, well, what happens if I do lay it down? Is anyone going to complain? Probably not. Let's give it a go. R, T to transform, sorry. Blue, green, blue, green. If you lay it down too much, you need to put it way, way down into the dirt. Alright, and then probably R to rotate. Change this. I don't want it copying the one ahead. That's the trouble. There we go. There we go. There we go. Terrain objects, get rid of that. We have this one that's knocked over. This one that's knocked over slightly. We just lay it up right or a little bit more. Yep. Okay. Fine. All right. So over time, the trees are going to regrow. They're going to try and move towards the sun. Plants generally move towards the sun. So pine tree 3, another little. So these are medium pine trees. The little pine trees, I think we've only got one of. But that's fine. We could put it out slightly further. Here, maybe. That would be a good idea. Or we could put it out beyond. One step beyond. Literally beyond the woods themselves, to give the woods more depth. Maybe here? Maybe. Or we can do sort of the other side, give it more length. That might be a good idea. Alright, I'll do that. And because it's not really in the way of where the plane is, we don't need to like knock it over or anything. So T, drag it to the ground a little bit, R, rotate it. There you go. There you go. Got another one which we can put in. We got more trees, boss? Yeah, we got more trees. And I'm going to put that here? Yeah. Around here, I think. So now we're at the max items reached. Okay. R to rotate, spin it around. Oh no, but I want another one. Pine sapling, pine tree. There we go. It's a little cheat. Just to get over the item limits. But wait, why is there an item limit? I don't know. Maybe it's a way of limiting how many resources your computer has to have in order to render an entire forest. Maybe they didn't plan on people building an entire forest. I don't know. I don't know. So those were the small ones. Oh, excellent. Which means we have some medium ones which we can put in. I'm going to put another medium one. Kind of want to put it over here actually, but I think we should have some more depth to the forest. So let's find a nice snuggly bit of rock. There is good. Oh, item limit reached. Oh no. Oh dear. Well, sucks to be us, I guess. Oh look. Oh no, we can't. That is the actual item limit. No, we can't be cheeky and add another one. Well, that looks good. Terrain objects. So we have a very long forest. There's a lot of stuff there, and the airplane has now crashed through it. There's a slight problem though, because the airplane is missing a wing. Oh, what do we do with that? Well, this side has a wing missing. Absolutely ripped off. And I think what we should do is put that somewhere. So we go to objects. Unfortunately, the pine trees. Yeah, I really wish we could have more pine trees, but whatever. I'm going to close the trees box. Going to go to structures. Going to go to plane wreck 1A. There was another aeroplane, but yeah, it's gone. It's gone, I tell you. Grab you. but you're the wrong way round. Actually, does it matter which way the camera is facing? It does not. Okay. What we need is the wing. The wing? Where can that be? That could be in the forest? In the forest? That's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So, we're going to rotate it. Zoop. There you go. And then we are going to... how do we do this? Transform. I'm going to bring you up. Bring you over. This is our sacrificial plane. We could actually just have it lower to the ground. It might look pretty decent lower to the ground. But whatever, we've done what we've done. So, I think... Where could we put that wing where it would be interesting? I think we'll get rid of you for the time being. Yes, please. I think what we need is something here. So we're going to hit up rocks. Big rock? Yeah, big rock. It's a big rock. So, R to rotate. And then what I want is a little bit in the ground. T to transform. So it's more of a... There you go. More of a little hill. Something you can run up without thinking about running up. Actually, I might grab another rock. Big rock 3. Just something to go next to it. Where were you? There you go. And just pull that down. Because the rocks have the same texture, you can put multiple together. And they just kind of blend well together. So you can make an even bigger rock using lots of other rocks? Whoa, say it's not so. It is. I don't like the end though, so I'll just turn it slightly. And then pull it out. And there you go. There you go. A bigger rock using lots of small rocks. So we will go and close that. Grab our aeroplane, put you on the beach because it's a little easier to see. R to rotate. Rotate you around. And then pull you over onto your back. And then make sure we don't have something else selected. And basically take that whole aeroplane and slam you into the ground in such a way that it looks like there's a little bit of wing. So I don't want... hello? It's going to be a little bit tricky because this is now under the world. T to transform. So I just want to... And then red toggle. We don't need too much of it poking out of the ground. Because it's just a wing tip. There. Does that look good? I think it looks pretty decent. Got the red and the green. I really wish it didn't keep snapping to something else. That kind of is sucky sucks. I'm worried at some point it's just going to stop working. And we have to go under the world to find the aeroplane. Let's move the whole thing forward a little bit. And then out. Just so it's just touching the rock. Excellent. Good. Terrain objects. So we now have a wingtip. It doesn't really matter about the size of the wingtip. It's only the last... Ooh, half of the wing. That's actually quite a huge section. But now... It's here! What, the half of the wing? Yes, it is! So we've got a bit of wing ripped off. Oh. And it's kind of embedded itself in the ground. Is it realistic? I mean, we've just placed an aeroplane up in some trees. I don't think any of this is realistic. But it looks good. So that's nice. What we're going to need to do now is dress some more of the forest. Oh, that's going to be trees, isn't it? Yes, it is. And one of my favorite trees, the ficus. And there's lots. There's ficus tree 1, ficus tree 2, ficus tree small, ficus tree big. But even the big ficus tree doesn't look that big. So ficus tree 1 and 2, I don't believe you can cut down. The smaller ficus trees, the ficus tree and the ficus tree, you can chop down. So if you want to control who does what, little copse of ficus tree, little thicket. So the first two, ficus tree, and ficus tree, excellently named in the toolbox. Your players will be able to chop them down. So your players will not be able to chop down any of the pine trees. Those are structural elements, so if you want to put them in, decorate an island, that is absolutely fine. The rocks cannot be moved, the wings cannot be moved, the wrecks cannot be moved. These 3 ficus trees can be chopped down. The palm trees can be chopped down. Ficus tree 1 and ficus tree 2 cannot. So these 2 are structural elements. You can put them in and you can make everything look beautiful. Now I don't want to put something in and just have it underneath the... So if I put a tree there, it would just completely block the pond. But we do need to make the pond look more interesting. We'll do that at some point. So what I think we'll do is start adding trees around the outside. I don't want to put them in the pine forest because I don't think deciduous trees and pine trees work very well together in real life. One drops acidic needles and the other one's a ficus tree, and it makes the soil acidic. But we do need to decorate things like this, and these ficus trees have these nice bowed branches. So you get a lot more foliage. And the thing is, if you light a fire down here, if you put a campfire down here, all of the underside of these leaves glow orange. It's great. It's one of those places where you can absolutely have a campsite. So there, we can make a world tree. Well, how do you do that? See? Oh, nope, 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 nope. That's the wrong one. Select the tree. I wish it didn't do that. Press C to clone. Press R to rotate. There you go. And then press T to transform. And hope it doesn't snap to something else, because if it does, you've got a problem. Well, you don't have a problem. Just problems tend to find you. Little world tree action? Is it too much? Yeah, probably. I don't want the branches clipping through other trees. That's the only issue. I think that's okay. Nice big old tree. So it looks like it may have been there before the pine trees turned up. And I heard somebody complain about the pine trees. They're like, it's a desert island. Why are there pine trees on my desert island? Well, they're called Cook Pines, and they do exist in the Pacific. Oh, okay. Ficus Tree 2. Ficus Tree 2 we're going to be using a lot, because it is the other way of decorating the woods. Drag, that is huge. So if I get rid of that a hot second, the reason you got to put the trees in the ground, let's put it above us, is that if you look underneath the tree, there is nothing underneath it. I get rid of you. Suddenly the camera moves freely again because there's no objects in the way. Yeah, you absolutely want those roots in the ground, because otherwise it just looks like things are floating. That's not right. And then we're going to put a tree here. Absolutely going to put a tree here. In fact, I might move it a little bit further out. When you pull something out of the toolbox, it follows the terrain until you let go. There you go. You're down. And I want little gateways. So I don't want to block line of sight to anything. That's fine. Excellent. We are going to close the trees tab. Grab some rocks. Hello? I want some rocks. Please, I'd like some rocks. Rockety rocks. T. Transform. Excellent. R. Rotate. Even excellenter. Good. Big rock 2. Would you like to get into the action? I believe you would. So we'll bring that round. Ground. We can't put it too far into the ground, because if you put it too far into the ground, then the grass will start clipping through. Most people have grass turned on in the game, and that is a little bit of a problem if you do that. Ask rotate. I mean, you're never gonna avoid it, but it's just something to keep an eye on, or to keep in your mind. T. Alright. I'm gonna grab the tree and move it up slightly. Wait, what? What are you doing? I don't understand. Now the tree is floating. It is. Close that. Hit terrain. Change the brush size down. raise slightly, amount all the way down, because otherwise we have a problem. Now I'm going to change that down even more. There you go. And just click and hold. The amount slider turned down, it's not going to raise the ground up too much. What I'm using is the rocks or a boundary. I'm going to use a hard brush, in fact. Just go around the outside. So it's kind of piled up here, and it'll peak. Soft, amount up, soft brush. So we're using smooth height. And I'm going to change it to a slightly bigger brush. Just move all this back down. Smooth this area here. Excellent. So this is now raised up a little bit more than it was. Change that amount all the way down. Raise, yes please. I'm just gonna, what I want is it to be raised up, and then so it's higher on the side where the tree is and lower on the side where the rocks are. There we go. But wait, there's more. Yes, of course there's more. Select objects. And now I think we can move that up a lot more. And we can move this up a lot more. There you go. And then we can just push the tree in here. Ah, there we go. So we just brought the forest out a little bit more. The player will have to walk around the rocks or up into the forest. What? Yep, and we can dress that a little bit more. So we can put smaller plants and things around it, but it's just starting to thicken the forest up using other plants. And we have an absolute path straight through to the aeroplane. It's a little bit more obvious when you look from the sky, but the more mature trees are on the outside and the less mature trees are on the inside, and anything too tall is knocked over, because that looks like the airplane has bashed through everything. Excellent. So yes, we are luxuriating in the design of the island, but there's a lot to do, a lot of small things, a lot of things to think about. I'm going to leave it there though for the time being. So if you like these videos, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe. If you want notifications, dingle the bingle. If you don't want notifications, don't click the bell, and I'll tell you what, I'll see you next time.